y'all, everybody doing? My name is Richard Jacobs, also known as Breadwinner1007. From I'm a part of a quadriplegic esports gaming team, the first and only all quadriplegic esports gaming team called the Quad Gods. And yeah, we try to help provide people with accessible equipment to be able to get into gaming and try to pursue, they long lived dream of gaming that they always been dreaming about.
Now, you and I have spent probably hours together in Discord, playing and fighting with adaptive equipment and controls and getting everything to work and all sorts of different games and different environments. But I'm curious, in the case of the work that we've done together, especially around Call of Duty and the time we spent playing, before that, what was your experience like with a game like Call of Duty before you had the sort of integrated adaptive controls?
So for me, before I was able to be in contact or use Cephable, Call of Duty, oh my God, I like to play first-person shooter games. So I used to love playing Call of Duty. But then after my injury, I stopped being able to use my hands at 100%. I didn't have all the dexterity in my fingers and my hands. So holding a controller, even now, right now to this day, holding a controller in my hands or, trying to be able to press those little small buttons and use the joystick with the precision that everybody else using it, it was basically almost out of my reach before I got a chance to use Cephable. I was just getting in a game and dying every 5 seconds. It's bad enough. And what if you in team deathmatch or something like that, battle royale, you in there getting shot up every 10 seconds, somebody you trying to get revived, getting thrown in the gulag. It's crazy. So yeah. It was a rough time before Cephable.
Awesome, man. What was as you started being able to try it for the first time, what was the kind of aha moment where the power of Cephable or these kind of adaptive controls like voice and face, in games like Call of Duty or otherwise, kind of clicked for you?
For Cephable, the way I used to do it, I would have to run, and if I see somebody, because I can't with my right hand, I don't have the power in my fingers and my thumb strong enough to be able to aim and shoot at the same time. Because shoot is usually the R2 at the top, and to aim you use the right analog stick. So my hand is not strong enough to do both of those things at the same time, even though it might sound like a small thing to do for other people. Just those little things, something small as that, being able to use your fingers to do just that little bit of motion, I'm not able to do that, while a lot of other people would be able to do it. So just that small thing right there gives everybody the advantage up over me, because the only way in that situation, if I see somebody, I would literally have to run up to them and then remove my hand off of the aim and then start shooting. But if they run or if they jump or if they do anything, I'm done. I can't do nothing. So I got to take my hand off of shoot now and try to retarget. And while I'm doing that, they just shooting me up. I'm trying to point at them and they shooting me up. And next thing you know, I'm back in the gulag. And I'm trying to aim and shoot. And then I thought about it, wait a minute, I got Cephable on right now. So now I could just aim and then say shoot.
Yep.
So now I got a steady aim on them, hitting them with 11,000 shots and screaming shoot crazy at the camera. They probably think I'm some type of madman because they got the microphone on so they can hear me screaming shoot. So
I think it's more intimidating when someone is hearing you yell that they're going to get shot.
But once that happened, and then I think in that same moment, I probably got 2 or 3 people right there in that same motion. I was like, oh yeah, this is it right here. This is it right here. And I get to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I get to kill people while I'm running, and playing Call of Duty at the same time. I could let some frustration out from the whole day, screaming commands up in the air. Jump, I said. Slide, grenade. What are you doing? So, yeah, it's definitely awesome, it's definitely a game changer though. Cephable is definitely a game changer.
So I know you mentioned a few ways that you used it so far. One of the things that we look at is all the different ways people use Cephable because it's really at its core kind of three different inputs. People use voice. Some people use the face controls. Some people set up like the custom quick action button. Some people have like I just use my phone. I play on PlayStation. We've got folks that are like, they've got a tablet on their lap and they're using voice on their PC. But like, what's your Cephable setup for Call of Duty Black Ops 7 and what about the rest of the quad guys? I know they got all sorts of different, adaptive controls and assisted tech. Like, what else are you seeing out there?
Everybody's different. So everybody like to have their own little personal type of setup that they got going. I like the way I'm using mine. I got my mobile because for me, when I got it on the desktop, which it works on both. It works on the desktop and on the mobile. For anybody out there that want to know, it definitely worked for both. So I think for me though, I'm so used to yelling at my phone and my phone is off, so I just like it to have it on my mobile. And I noticed that for me, it works seamlessly. Like there's no issue. Whenever I'm saying whatever I'm saying, the commands come out how they're supposed to, and it's not keeping me all caught up or getting shot up because it's not working right, or it's actually, doing everything that I thought of and better. Because like I said, without it, I probably would have just been everybody target practice. But but other than that, I'm actually now starting to be an asset to the team.
I love it, man. Yeah, I know for me, like obviously I use Cephable all day, every day for all my work and stuff too. But like I find that I use my Cephable just like on my desktop almost exclusively when I'm working. But then when I'm gaming, I like go right to the phone because I play on PC, I play some games on PlayStation, and so it's like it's the same setup either way for me, which is convenient. Just like pop open the phone and also used to yelling at my phone for all sorts of stuff. Yeah, and I know when we've done a few of these game nights and stuff too. We've got folks that are using quad sticks and Cephable. We've got folks using, which I do want to give a shout out to, like the Xbox adaptive controller plus Cephable, regular controllers plus Cephable. I think that flexibility is nice, right? It's like whatever inputs, whatever systems work best for you, like just make it all work. It's really great. Exactly. What is this type of integration with a platform like Cephable and Call of Duty Black Ops 7? What do you think it kind of opens up for the future of accessibility in gaming as a whole?
So I think actually it opens up a lot, especially for people with disabilities, because like I said, when it comes to people with disabilities, there's so many different ranges and so many different variations of people's disability. So, like I said, for me personally, it helps out when I'm trying to use those, those trigger buttons on the top where I can't really use the top buttons. It also helps out in sharp strategic situations because, like I said, whenever I'm running or just let's say I'm looting and somebody chasing me down, and next thing you know, I don't have to just those little split seconds of me releasing my hand from the aiming button to try to reach up to the shoot button is life or death within the gameplay. So being able to just get that second or two back just by being able to say it without having to physically do it, it changed a lot too. So that was another big thing, like with it. And you can use it with not just games too. You can also use it with, the PC itself, doing little things that you're doing on your computer, whatever you may be doing. You might be using a Word, typing up something, doing some type of letter, anything you might be doing. And Cephable was actually good to use with all of those type of applications too. So I know at the moment, right, it's actually starting to become a little bit more open as far as game wise, right? There's other games that are starting to be able to function with two at the same time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, out of the box, it can do like keyboard and mouse stuff, a little bit of gamepad stuff on PC only. The biggest functional difference for the ones versus like the ones that integrate, right? The way that like Black Ops 7 did. Not all input systems handle like the virtual keyboard stuff that Cephable does behind the scenes. Like some games just like won't accept a Cephable keyboard or mouse or gamepad input. Okay. Sometimes they can get caught by anti-cheat because it's looking like you're using some third-party system that might not be allowed. Versus like in the case of what we do with Call of Duty, we're just it's integrated. We work with the anti-cheat team to make sure that it's trustworthy in the way that it's been implemented. It works in every other app, but we're starting to add more games for sure, which is, I think, a shameless segue into my next question, which is obviously you don't just play Call of Duty Black Ops 7. And of course, we're here to celebrate Call of Duty Black Ops 7, the work that team did. But, what are the other games that you're playing that you wish had, something like Cephable integrated into it to make it a little bit easier?
So other games that I tried to use with it, that's what you said?
Or tried, or that you wished had it, right? Like had the actual integration the way that Call of Duty does.
So right now, that the way they showing the possibilities, integrating with Call of Duty like that, this is just a window into the possibilities of what can be done with Cephable. So some sports games would definitely be killer. Like to be able to, play Madden or, hockey or something like that with it is probably be crazy. Baseball, I like to play baseball games too. So baseball will probably be good with it too, because I could just imagine myself sitting here. It would make myself feel like I'm watching a baseball game. That's how much I'd be yelling at the daggone screen. Like, run! What are you doing? Stop! Still!
You'd be like a coach on the sidelines yelling at your players. It's actually doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Ark Survival Evolved, that's another game that I think I would be able to use with it, because it's just, I think the best way to describe Cephable when it comes to, being useful in gameplay, and this would probably go for any game period that you're thinking about, is the fact that you could take so many complicated button commands. Because some of these games nowadays, they're definitely not simple when it comes to button combinations and what's needed to be done to get certain things to come out or certain actions to happen. So with Cephable, with you being able to just say it and eliminate 6 buttons that you probably got to press all together. You got to press L2, R2, L1, L2,
yep,
and X and square all at the same time. Like for me, I might well just be bait. Everybody else gonna be running from the dice, so I'll be bait because I can't do all that. So
I know. I think about like. Sorry, go ahead, man.
Yeah. No, you're good.
I was just saying, like, I think about like MMOs, right? And like you have to be playing on like a keyboard, and you're using like every possible hotkey and combination and everything else instead of just that sort of voice command to level it. But yeah, I mean, and I know a lot of games that do a good job with like the native accessibility features. They'll add things like button remapping. You can do that in Call of Duty too, right? Like if you have a hard time reaching the trigger, well, you could make like, triangle on the PlayStation controller shoot as well. Yeah. But then like, well, now you're still missing, now you got to put that somewhere else. Exactly. For games that are like, we're going to utilize the whole controller, like there's kind of no good way around it. You need all of the buttons at some level to be able to play.
Yeah, see, for me, and I'm glad you played that up like that too, because it's kind of different from my hands, because it's not that I can't, it's not that, I don't like the button being in that space. It's any button in that space. No matter what the button is, I can't use it. It's almost like that button is not even on a controller no more. So that's why, for me, it's a lifesaver when it comes to that part, as far as the buttons go.
Yeah, one of the first games I tried to get just the Cephable like keyboard side, just out of the box working with for me was Elden Ring, because one of the things that I was literally getting hand pain from, and I'll show this visibly on a controller, was getting on your mount or getting on your horse to especially run away. So you're like, you're using both joysticks to move and run around. But then like in order to get on your horse, you have to first of all still be moving and running. Then you have to hold triangle, and then like one of the D-pad buttons at the same time. So you end up having to like, okay, I'm gonna like now switch to claw. And then I've got my thumbs under. It was like, oh my god! Now I just
you see all of that
mount.
Stuff you were just doing.
Horse, please.
I can't do none of that. If we was playing a 4-player game of, zombies or the Call of Duty, the campaign mode, and somebody was relying on me to do something that needed me to do all of that, oh no, the whole team is going down in flames. I'm sorry, we all dying. They should have picked somebody else to do that part of the job.
We've got game developers in the room that are building other games that are trying to sort of, navigate how to enhance the accessibility of their game. And you got people who are building, the platforms like Xbox and PlayStation, stuff like that in the room too. So, I'm curious for all the folks who are sort of watching here today, what's one or two things you'd want them to sort of take away from this sort of adaptive gaming, Cephable, what Call of Duty Black Ops 7 had done, and anything else.
What would I want people to take away today?
Yeah.
I would want people to understand that, especially anybody that might be dealing with a disability or they dealing with any type of physical limitation, as far as, your hand use and everything goes. And I'm pretty sure it could be even further than just hand use, because if you use a Cephable with a car racing game, you could shout drive or stop or brakes or gas or however you want to set it up to be. And that's another good thing about Cephable. It doesn't have to necessarily be these locked in inputs or whatever they say that it have to be. You could literally customize it to pick up whatever you want it to be. So, down the line, you start giving it little inputs and it will, start listening to what you're saying, and you can do what you got to do with that. So if you have some type of limitation, even with your legs, you amputee, anything like that, Cephable would definitely be something big that could make a change for anybody in that position. So if I was making people take away something from this today, I would have you take away the fact that Cephable is not only just for people with disabilities, it's also very beneficial to anybody without a disability. It could just make life simply easier. Like if you think about it like that, it's all different things. It's for gamers, it's for people that's doing office work, it's for all types of situations. So it's an all-around win-win for everybody.
I love it, man. Well, thank you for the time and answering all my myriad of questions, for the fun conversation.